Evening, folks. Brian here, Geomagnetic Earthwatch, Tuesday, October 14, 2025. Yes, I'm okay. I'm back. Family matters first. We're going to talk about, this is a quote from Carl Sagan, who stated once, "Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence." Are you confused before we even get started in this class? Let me explain. It means a lack of proof for something does not automatically prove it does not exist. It does caution against making definitive conclusions based on incomplete information or insufficient investigation, or if you were put in place to deny the existence of something. It also means a failure to look hard enough or in the right place, or a lack of correct tools for detection, or not doing your homework. So just because we cannot see beyond the limited scope of our vision and limited understanding of the cosmos does not mean approaching celestial bodies do not exist beyond, say, the size of what the information they are feeding us with this AI-generated images of comets, for example. Yet some are saying that it's much, much larger than what they're projecting. Hint, hint. So absence of evidence is not evidence of the absence of, say, a binary star and its accompanying planets by whatever names are suggested. Now, some will say, well, we don't see it in the heavens above, therefore it's just a myth. If you keep your mind open and not closed in arrogance, ignorance, or put in place by the government to cover it up, you can be your own celestial and earthly private investigator. It's easy. If someone were to say, for example, a celestial body intersects our orbit of our system every 3,600 years, then you ask yourself, well, what would be the effects on our planet? With a basic understanding, you would investigate for indications of electromagnetic connections, as well as the gravitational influences. You would do your homework. And you would keep on going back 3,600 years approximately. You just keep on adding it up. And you keep on going back. You do your investigation, you do your research, and you would indeed find that Earth has undergone catastrophic events every 3,600 years, most of it's resulting in a multitude of violent global volcanic eruptions and the sudden climate changes, and some cycles recorded celestial events. Now, the absence of direct visual evidence is not evidence of absence, for the evidence is all abound that the Earth has been responding to forces man cannot control nor create. The weakening magnetic field, magnetosphere, and chaotic jet streams is by no measure of man's feeble attempts to manipulate. It can only be done by a much larger external influence, such as by a perturber. The changing ocean currents and sea temperatures are not by the false narrative of man-made global warming. That's the narrative they came up with 47 years ago. The increase in volcanic eruptions and earthquakes is by no weapons that man does not possess with the required power needs. And I know someone's going to say, oh, well, they have a machine in Antarctica and it caused an earthquake in New Zealand. What about all the rest? Seas will retreat on one side, and on the opposite end, oceans inundations across the lands as the earth will reel to and fro like a drunkard, so said Isaiah. And then the nations will be falling into anguish and perplexity at the roaring and the tossing of the seas and the changing tides. Then we have the silence on the surface upon polar wastelands only masks the underlying volcanic activity. heat, pressure, and now, as I understand it, increased methane releases beneath the ice caps. Edgar Cayce also forewarns of upheavals in the polar regions. Then at the same time, an increase in volcanic eruptions in the equatorial regions. So on the few of us, there's this surge of awareness, which some can do their homework and define, while others will descend into chaos, confusion, and emotional collapse soon. The few of us who are attuned and aware and awake, as the rest will not understand, comprehend, nor be prepared. They're just going to follow the herds of the sheep over the cliff. They're going to be following the narrative and the status quo without question, going down the path of darkness. So by the way, I have to do this in small segments because I have no more data left on my phone. I have to do a short segment, download it on my computer, erase it, so I still have some data space left. Therefore, there's going to be the wars and the plandemics, collapses of society, deliberately orchestrated events designed to force humanity down a predetermined path. As people do not question the narratives, eventually they will respond with uncertainty, fear, and chaos will engulf them, as then their hearts will fail them from fear, for looking upon that which is coming to the earth. For then the powers of the heavens will be shaken. So from the highest in the heavens above to the depths of the sea below is the suggestive evidence, as well as written in Scripture, of course, of the signs and events, such as it were like a great mountain ablaze tossed into the sea, and 1/3 of the sea life will die, and the sea will turn to blood, and 1/3 of the sea vessels will be destroyed. An ocean asteroid impact, it clearly describes, and of another impact on Earth, turning 1/3 of the rivers and streams' waters into poison. Wormwood, another asteroid impact. Of the government trying to suppress the evidence or to take away the tools of observations that reveal coming changes, hence restricting the public access to Department of Defense, the 4 U.S. Air Force satellites, not just for weather conditions. More importantly, we will no longer have access to information on 1, the solar winds, 2, the state of the magnetic field, 3, the state of the ionosphere, and 4, the thermosphere, all of which would be affected by an incoming celestial body or bodies, not alien spaceships. I would also be very wary of false peace presented by deceivers. For what follows is what the Antichrist guides them to do, into destruction, dissolution, despair. Don't believe any of that. Finally, there's a lot of YouTubers out there, or there's a lot of YouTube videos who are feeding you fear and misinformation, outright lies. When I come across an outright lie, I have no problem in bringing it to your attention. A couple of nights ago, I watched a video by the Interconnected Zone. I'll try and find the link and include it. There's a lot of people who are using Nostradamus and Baba Vanga and imposing their own narrative with outright lies. And in the Interconnected Zone, he did a video stating that according to Nostradamus's quatrains, there will be catastrophic events happening by the end of 2025 in 3 regions of the United States. And in that video, they quoted a century number and a quatrain number. And he said, this means this will happen this part of the United States. That will happen on that part of the United States. Exercise your own due diligence. Don't take anything for granted. Especially when somebody says, quatrain number 3, correction, century number 3, quatrain number 74 says that this is going to happen to the United States, going to be a violent earthquake, blah, blah, blah. I actually looked it up through a half a dozen different resources. Not one single thing that this person said in the interconnected zone said anything about any catastrophic events in the United States. It was full on lies, bullshit, fear porn, complete lies. And again, this person gave the century number and quatrain number. A quatrain is a 3-line cryptic message that Nostradamus wrote. Complete lies. Just like people are saying, Baba Vanga said that by 2025 there's going to be a comet alien invasion, and so on. You got to stay grounded in, well, I guess the most accurate one is the Bible, isn't it? And other religious texts. So, the absence of evidence is not evidence of absence of something. Clearly, the earth is responding to some, I can assure you, as somebody who watches everything for years and years, there has been a substantial increase in earthquakes in the past 2 years in diverse places where we normally don't have earthquakes, and including a great number of deep earthquakes around the world. And if anybody else were to say, well, I'm going to pull up the USGS map, the most unreliable, lying organization in the world, they are only one of 47 reporting agencies on earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. They're also government. The government that's going to be there for you during the next catastrophe. Great increase in rising heat globally. A lot. Our jet streams are not recognizable anymore in the Western Hemisphere. The Western Hemisphere being the Americas. And the list goes on. I just finished telling you. I'm not going to repeat them. I understand that people are suggesting that this 3-eye atlas is going to be much larger than what they're saying. Hint, hint. And again, all the events currently are falling in line with Scripture, starting at the beginning of the tribulation period, going into Revelation. It also starts with those who proclaim a false peace. That's the one worrying indicator, which is going to very soon crumble, and they know it. Anyway, folks, I'm still around. There's going to be some days when I'm not around. I'm not going to explain why any further. Maybe those in the member group I'm trying to have setting up a fireside chat, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. We'll see. Anyway, that is all for now for this lesson. Stand at ease as you were.